In a total crisis, what's the one thing everyone agrees will vanish from the shelves instantly? Antibiotics, painkillers, insulin, life-saving drugs that become priceless overnight. And you'd be absolutely right to think that. But you'd also be dead wrong. Because in the brutal timeline of a real collapse, medicine is only the second thing to disappear. There is another, more frantic, more primal wave of panic buying that happens first. A desperate hunt for 7 essential items that people realize, in that first gut-wrenching moment of terror, are even more critical for immediate survival than a bottle of pills. These are the items that will be stripped bare from the shelves before the pharmacy doors are even unlocked. Today, we reveal what they are, because knowing this single secret gives you a priceless head start against the entire desperate herd. Number 1. Ampere siphon pump. When the world grinds to a halt and the highways fall silent, what will be the most valuable resource on the planet? It's not gold, it's not ammunition, it will be a liquid, red gold, gasoline. The brutal truth of a widespread collapse scenario is that the roads will become graveyards of abandoned vehicles, millions of them, all silent for one simple, fatal reason: an empty fuel tank. This is the first and most critical item on our list, because without it, your car is not an escape vehicle. It is a 4,000-pound steel coffin waiting for the worst to find you. The amateur prepper foolishly believes they can just pull into a gas station during a crisis. That is a deadly fantasy. Gas stations will be the most violent, chaotic, and dangerous hotspots in the first 48 hours, and then they will inevitably run dry forever. The professional survivor knows that the real gas stations of the new world are the millions of abandoned cars littering every road and highway. But that precious fuel is locked away inside their tanks, useless to anyone who isn't prepared. The key to unlocking this vast ocean of energy is not a weapon. It's this: a simple, cheap, manual siphon pump. This small, unassuming hose and hand pump is one of the most controversial but absolutely essential preps you can have in your vehicle. Let's be brutally honest about what this is for. This is a tool for acquiring fuel from vehicles that are no longer in use. This isn't about common theft in a functioning society with laws and police. This is about the grim science of salvaging a critical, life-sustaining resource in a world where the only rule is to survive. When a family abandons their vehicle on a dead highway because they have run out of gas, they have also abandoned the 20 gallons of fuel sitting in the tank of the car right behind them. That gasoline is now a resource for those who have the means and the will to recover it. Having this one simple tool in your vehicle completely transforms your reality. You are no longer limited by the fuel in your own tank. Every stranded car you see on the horizon becomes a potential lifeline, a chance to get a few more miles down the road, away from danger and towards safety. Without a siphon pump, you are stranded. Number 2. Ampere tire plug kit and inflator. You're driving down a supposedly empty road, your family in the car, trying to get to safety, and then you hear it. A low thumping sound, followed by that sickening, unmistakable hiss of escaping air. Your car pulls sharply to one side. You have a flat tire. In the old world, this was an inconvenience, a frustrating but simple call to roadside assistance. In the new world, that sound is your death knell. It is the sound of your escape vehicle transforming into a stationary steel cage, a baited trap that has just been sprung. You have just become a sitting duck, helpless and exposed. The brutal reality of a societal collapse is that the roads will not be clean. They will be littered with a minefield of sharp debris, shattered glass from riots, nails from burnt-out buildings, and jagged metal fragments from abandoned wrecks. In this environment, a flat tire is no longer a remote possibility. It is an absolute certainty. And when it happens, you must understand that there is no one coming to save you. There is no AAA. There are no tow trucks. There is no help. Even that flimsy donut spare in your trunk, if your modern car even has one, is only a temporary, low-speed solution that will likely just get you stranded again a few miles down a road that is getting more dangerous by the minute. This is why the second most critical item in your vehicle, after the means to acquire fuel, is the means to hold air. I am talking about a high-quality tire plug kit and a reliable 12-volt inflator. This small, inexpensive bag is a surgical kit for your vehicle. It contains everything you need to find the puncture, pull out the offending nail or screw, ream the hole to clean it, and then insert a tough, sticky plug that permanently seals the leak in minutes. Learning to use it is a simple 15-minute skill, but it is a skill that completely changes your odds of survival on the road. It is the difference between being a helpless victim waiting on the side of a dangerous highway and being a self-reliant survivor who can fix their own problems and keep moving towards safety. In a world where mobility is life and being stationary is death, the ability to repair your own tires is a superpower. It is the power to overcome. Number 3, Ampere quality folding shovel. It has no batteries, no circuits, and no complex moving parts that can fail you in a crisis. It's a simple, brutal piece of hinged steel and polymer, an ancient tool that has been a staple on battlefields for centuries, long before the invention of the firearm. I'm talking about a quality folding shovel, often called an entrenching tool or E-tool. And I'm telling you today that this humble object is one of the most versatile, critical, and surprisingly deadly survival items that you must have in your vehicle. The amateur sees a simple tool for digging. The professional survivor sees a multi-purpose engine for survival, a master key that unlocks solutions to a dozen problems you haven't even thought of yet. Yes, its most obvious job is to restore your mobility. When your vehicle is hopelessly bogged down in mud, sand, or snow, turning your mobile fortress into a stationary prison for predators to find, this shovel is the powerful tool that digs you out. But its role as a pathmaker goes far beyond that. In a world without road crews, highways and backroads will be littered with impassable debris. A fallen tree, a small rock slide, or the wreckage of other vehicles can completely block your path to safety. This tool allows you to clear that path, to dig a makeshift ramp, to physically alter the world around you just enough to keep moving forward when everyone else has been stopped dead in their tracks. But its utility extends far beyond just moving your vehicle. When you are stranded for days in one location, sanitation becomes a life or death issue. This shovel is how you dig a proper, deep latrine, burying human waste to prevent the spread of catastrophic waterborne diseases like cholera and dysentery that will kill thousands. It's also your primary fire management tool. It digs the pit that contains and hides your cook fire, making it safer and far less visible to unwanted eyes. And when you need to vanish back into the night, it's the tool you use to quickly and silently smother the embers, leaving no trace that you were ever there. Finally, let's talk about its final, most brutal purpose. When you are pulled from your vehicle in a violent roadside encounter and all other options have failed, a quality steel entrenching tool is a terrifyingly effective weapon. With a sharpened edge for chopping, a point for thrusting, and the sheer weight for a bone-shattering strike, it is a formidable last-ditch defense tool. This is why quality is the most important word. A cheap, flimsy knockoff will bend. Number 4. Ampere pair of binoculars. In a world without the rule of law, the most powerful weapon you can have in your vehicle is not the one that fires a bullet. It is the one that allows you to see the future. I'm talking about the ability to know what lies over the next hill, around the next blind corner, and what is waiting for you in the valley below, long before you drive your family directly into a fatal and irreversible trap. This is the power of a simple pair of binoculars, and it is the one tool that transforms you from a blind gambler into a strategic survivor on the chaotic, unpredictable roads of a collapsed world. The unprepared driver, the amateur, is operating on pure, desperate luck. Every intersection is a roll of the dice. They will speed towards a bridge, only to find it destroyed at the last second, forcing a dangerous, fuel-wasting, and exposed retreat. They will come over a rise in the highway and drive directly into a hastily constructed roadblock manned by desperate, armed men with nothing to lose. They will follow the main road into a small town, completely unaware that a violent mob is looting and burning the main street just ahead. This is how the vast majority of people will perish on the roads, not from the big dramatic event, but from a single stupid and completely avoidable mistake. They will perish because they chose to be blind. This is a mistake you will not make. With a quality pair of binoculars, you stop your vehicle before you enter the danger zone. You get out, find a concealed, elevated position, and you gather life-saving intelligence. Is that a checkpoint on the road ahead? Are those men in uniform, or are they a local gang? Do they look organized and disciplined, or panicked and desperate? Is that smoke on the horizon a simple house fire, or is it a sign of a running gun battle? This information is life. It allows you to make a calculated, intelligent decision to find an alternate route, to wait until the cover of darkness, or to turn back long before the enemy even knows you exist. It gives you options, and in a collapse scenario, options are everything. But their use goes far beyond simple threat assessment. You can use them from a safe distance to scout for critical resources, a hidden source of water, an abandoned barn that might hold supplies, or signs of game to hunt. You can use them to plan your route, confirming that a distant path is viable before you commit your precious and irreplaceable fuel. and you can use them for counter-surveillance, pulling over to a safe spot to scan your back trail and determine if you are being followed. This is why you need a decent pair, something like an 8x42 or 10x50, that can gather precious light in the critical, low-light hours of dawn and dusk. Your vehicle gives you mobility, but it is the binoculars that give you intelligence. And without intelligence, mobility is just a faster way to find your own grave. Number 5. Automotive fire extinguisher. Of all the threats you will face on the chaotic roads of a collapsed world, the desperate mobs, the impassable roadblocks, the inevitable flat tire, there is one that is faster, more final, and more utterly destructive than all the others combined. Fire. We're not talking about a distant house fire that you can run from. We're talking about the violent, toxic, and shockingly fast inferno of a vehicle fire. It is an enemy that can consume your most valuable survival asset, your mobile fortress, in less than 5 minutes, leaving you and your family stranded on the side of the road, exposed, and with nothing left but a smoking steel husk. And make no mistake, the risk of a vehicle fire absolutely skyrockets in a post-collapse environment. People will be driving poorly maintained cars with leaking fuel lines, frayed and faulty wiring, and overheating engines. The roads will be littered with wreckage from other vehicles, making accidents far more common. Civil unrest could mean facing thrown incendiaries or firebombs. Even the simple, necessary act of siphoning and transporting gasoline in makeshift containers creates a massive fire risk that simply doesn't exist in the normal world. And when that small fire inevitably starts, from a shorted wire under the dashboard or a single drop of spilled fuel on a hot engine, you must burn one brutal fact into your mind. There is no fire department coming to save you. There are no sirens. There is no help on the way. You are the first, last, and only line of defense against the total and complete loss of everything you own. This is why a compact automotive-rated BC or ABC fire extinguisher is not an optional accessory. It is as essential as the very fuel in your tank. This simple canister is 10 pounds of control over chaos. It is the power to stop a small, manageable problem from becoming a catastrophic, life-altering disaster in the 30 seconds you have to react. But having one is only half the battle. The most critical and common mistake people make is tossing it in the trunk with the rest of their emergency gear. By the time you get out, fumble for your keys, open the trunk, and dig out the extinguisher, your engine compartment will be a raging inferno, and it will already be too late. The professional survivor mounts their extinguisher inside the vehicle, within immediate arm's reach of the driver. Because seconds are all you will ever have, this one tool does more than just save your vehicle. It can be used to put out a small fire that is blocking your only escape route. It can be used as a non-lethal defensive weapon to blind and disorient an attacker, giving you the precious moments you need to escape. Your car is your suit of armor in the apocalypse. Your fire extinguisher is the shield that protects that armor. Without it, your most valuable asset is just a fragile, flammable shell, waiting for a single spark to end your journey for good. Number 6. High-calorie, no-prep food. You are stranded on the side of a dead highway. It's been hours, maybe even a full day, since your last real meal. You're exhausted, hungry, and your energy is dangerously low. But then you remember the emergency food you smartly packed in your glove box. You reach for that granola bar or chocolate-covered protein bar you threw in there 6 months ago. You tear it open, only to find a sticky, melted, oily mess that smells faintly of rancid plastic. The food you trusted to save your life has betrayed you, becoming a useless, disgusting lump of spoiled sugar and fat. This is a fatal and entirely predictable mistake made by millions. The trap is thinking that the food you store in your car can be the same as the food you store in your climate-controlled pantry. It cannot. Your vehicle is an oven on wheels in the summer, with interior temperatures easily exceeding 140 degrees Fahrenheit and a deep freezer in the winter. This extreme and fluctuating environment is a torture test for packaged food. Standard granola bars, with their nuts and oils, are guaranteed to go rancid. Chocolate-covered protein bars will melt into an unusable goo that attracts ants and other pests. They are not designed for this abuse. They are a convenient snack for a functioning world, not a reliable fuel source for a collapsed one. In a mobile survival situation, where you may be forced to walk for miles, your body is a machine burning through calories at an incredible and unsustainable rate. You don't need a tasty snack. You need a dense, reliable, and brutally efficient fuel source to keep going. This is why your vehicle must be stocked with specifically engineered, high-calorie, no-prep emergency ration bars. These are not snack bars. They are compact bricks of life, often with a 5-year, temperature-stable shelf life designed for military and maritime lifeboat survival kits. Respected brands create bars that are fortified with essential vitamins, have a dense 400 calories packed into a single small square, and are designed to withstand extreme temperatures without melting or spoiling. Crucially, they are also formulated to be non-thirst-provoking, meaning they give you a burst of energy without making you dangerously dehydrated when water is scarce. This is the critical difference between an amateur and a professional. The amateur packs a snack for the road. The professional packs an engineered survival solution. These bars aren't meant to be delicious. They are meant to be decisively effective. They are your absolute guarantee that when you are at your lowest point, you will have a clean, stable, and powerful source of the raw energy needed to take that next step, to keep moving, and to survive another day. Number 7. Ampere. Power inverter. When the grid goes down in a final deafening silence, the world will be plunged into total darkness and chaos. But what if I told you that in that moment, millions of people will be sitting inside metal boxes containing a vast, untapped ocean of electrical power, completely unaware of how to access it? They will watch their phones die, their radios go silent, and their last fragile connection to the modern world fade away into nothing, all while sitting on top of the very solution they desperately need. This is the tragic ignorance that a simple and critically overlooked power inverter is designed to conquer. The fatal trap of the 21st century is that all of our most critical information and survival tools are digital. Our maps, our technical manuals, our communication devices, our medical monitors, they all run on a steady flow of electricity. Portable power banks are a joke in a long-term crisis, a temporary fix that will last a day or two at most before becoming useless plastic bricks. But your vehicle, the very machine you are using to escape, contains a powerful battery and an alternator capable of generating a continuous supply of life-saving power as long as you have fuel. The only problem is, it's the wrong kind of power. The power inverter is the master key. This small, relatively inexpensive device plugs directly into your car's 12-volt cigarette lighter and transforms its DC power into the 110-volt AC power of a standard wall outlet. Suddenly, with this one tool, your vehicle is no longer just a mode of transport. It becomes a mobile power plant, a command center on wheels. You are no longer just another desperate refugee. You become an operator. You can now recharge your entire arsenal of communication gear, your ham radio to gather intelligence, your GMRS walkie-talkies to coordinate with your group, your satellite phone to reach the outside world. You can power a small laptop to access downloaded maps, detailed survival guides, and critical personal documents. You can keep life-saving medical devices running for a loved one. You can even recharge the batteries for your cordless power tools, allowing you to repair, rebuild, and refortify wherever you stop. This isn't about luxury. It's about maintaining a critical technological edge in a world that has been thrown back into the dark ages. Of course, you must be smart, running your car's engine periodically to keep the battery topped off without ever draining it completely. But this one tool fundamentally weaponizes your vehicle's electrical system, turning it from a simple engine into a source of life-sustaining power. In a world that will be defined by the loss of technology, the person who can still harness and control electricity holds all the cards. The power inverter is the key that lets you play that winning hand. Number 8. Physical Road Atlas, per milliampere PS. In your car, you feel a sense of absolute control. A calm, robotic voice from your phone or your dashboard tells you exactly where to turn, guiding you with perfect, satellite-guided wisdom. You follow it blindly, putting your complete faith in its flawless technology. You believe you have the ultimate navigation tool at your fingertips, making you immune to being lost. But this is a dangerous, digital delusion. That calm voice is a siren, lulling you into a state of total dependency on an incredibly fragile system that is about to be completely and permanently erased from existence. And when it finally goes silent, you and your family will be left utterly, terrifyingly blind. In a true collapse scenario, whether it comes from an EMP that fries all electronics, a massive cyber attack on infrastructure, or a catastrophic long-term grid failure, the entire digital navigation system will be one of the very first casualties. The GPS satellites may still be orbiting overhead, but the ground stations that process their signals and the vulnerable cell towers that deliver the data to your phone will be dead. Your Google Maps will freeze on a useless pixelated screen. Your car's dedicated GPS unit will search for a signal that will never come again. You will be rendered navigationally illiterate in a hostile world where taking a single wrong turn could lead you directly into a desperate, violent mob or a permanent, inescapable roadblock. Your multi-thousand-dollar vehicle becomes a worthless steel box if you do not know which way to drive it. This is why the professional survivor, without exception, relies on an ancient, unhackable, and EMP-proof piece of technology, a physical paper road atlas. This is not just a backup plan. In a collapse, it becomes the primary system. A paper map requires no batteries, no signal, and no network. It cannot be jammed, it cannot be tracked, and it cannot be shut down by a hostile government or a solar flare. It is a completely sovereign and independent navigation system. But its greatest strength is not even its legendary reliability. It's the profound strategic advantage it provides. GPS gives you tunnel vision, forcing you and everyone else onto the same major highways, which will become the world's longest parking lots of death and desperation. A large, detailed road atlas gives you the God's eye view. You can see the entire battlefield in one glance. You can identify the tiny, forgotten county roads, the old logging tracks, and the winding back ways that will allow you to bypass the predictable choke points of chaos. A good map shows you terrain, elevation, rivers, and railroad tracks, critical information for finding water, shelter, and creating new, alternate routes on the fly. A GPS makes you a follower, a passive passenger being led by a machine. A physical map turns you into a navigator, a commander who can analyze the terrain and make intelligent, life-saving decisions. In a world of collapse, the followers will be herded into traps. The navigators are the ones who will find a new path and survive. So, is the car sitting in your driveway a death trap, or is it a survival machine? The answer isn't in the vehicle itself. It's in your preparation. It is in the knowledge you have that 99% of the population does not. We've just covered 8 critical items that can transform your car from a simple machine into a powerful platform for mobility, intelligence, and self-reliance. But these physical items are just the beginning. The real takeaway from this is a fundamental shift in mindset. The amateur sees their car as a simple way to escape from point A to point B. The professional survivor understands that their vehicle is a complex system that must be mastered. It requires its own unique tools, its own strategies, and its own ruthless mindset. Most people will be trapped on the roads, becoming helpless victims of the very first problem they encounter. But not you. Not anymore. The knowledge we've shared today is a critical first step, but the threats you will face on those roads are far more complex than a simple flat tire or an empty gas tank. If this video has fundamentally changed the way you look at the keys in your pocket, then you need to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell right now. This channel is not just a list of products. It is an arsenal of strategies. We are not here to teach you what to buy. We are here to teach you how to think like a true survivor. The threats we will be covering in the coming weeks, from how to navigate a city under martial law to understanding the brutal psychology of a desperate roadblock, are subjects you cannot afford to learn through trial and error. In the new world, trial and error will get you and your family killed. Now, go down to the comments and answer this. What is the #1 most overlooked item in your vehicle survival kit? Share your intel with the community. Stay ahead of the chaos. Prepare for reality, not fantasy.